What's up, you guys? I have a very exciting box to open. I have a box to unbox. It's this one. It's big. And it's got a lot of good stuff in it. It's some shoes from Salming. These are last year's, well, current year's Salmings, I should say, just not next year's. We are going to have a look-see and find out what's in here. Big thanks to John from Salming for sending me these shoes to show you guys. Salming has gone through kind of some, I guess in the pandemic they didn't really have kind of like a structured release schedule, I guess I could say. They weren't really as widely available, at least in the US, as before, but they're back, baby. And these are available now out in the world, and they got new models coming out next year, which I may get a chance to look at in a future video. But for now, we're gonna show you what these babies look like. And I'm just gonna pull them out one by one and give you a rundown. All right, first on our list is the Salming Recoil Kobra. These are $180 in the US. This is Salming's highest price point again. They've been known for having the premium section of the shoe range over the years, and this is their highest end of the highest end, the Recoil Kobra. Now the Kobra, this was the first Salming shoe that I ever tried many years ago, the original Kobra, and the claim to fame for that shoe was that it was light, which this feels incredibly light, right? Just in my hand. They were light, comfortable from the get-go, and there was no break-in period, and also the stability of the shoe was really good. So these, I'm not going to be testing these all out on court because I want to be able to send them back so that they can be saleable. So I'm not going to be wearing into these too much. I'm just going to, for now, show you some of the cosmetics and go through some of the design elements so you can see them up close. Like I said, Salming shoes, they sort of haven't been as widely available for a couple of years, and I want to make sure you see that they are back, baby. So one of the nice things about this particular shoe, you can see this 8-degree thing. This is kind of a famous thing from Salming. They took a lot of care to make sure that there's good lateral stability in these shoes. This was the case when I tried the original Kobra. They've continued that construction concept. You can see kind of like as you push off laterally, these have a lot of support out wide. There's this hexagonal sole that goes all the way up the toe of the shoe to minimize some foot drag up here. And they are white soles, but they are non-marking. They don't say so on here, but these are non-marking shoes. In the lacing, they have kind of a tongue secure system here. These are secured also with a little bit of mesh to the kind of footbed on the inside. Not one of those like full-on sock booty things you sometimes see, but partially secured. This generation of Salmings, like in the beginning, they were known for kind of wild designs, like crazy color schemes, and very, they like really stood out. These are much, this whole range is, I can see from the photos, and we'll see from the actual shoes, it's much more subdued. This is a white, silver, and black concept. Salming itself is always well displayed on the branding. They've done a good job, as always, of kind of making a name for themselves. So this one is the Recoil Kobra, the newest Kobra. Next up, we have the Recoil Strike. This is $160 in the US. That's $20 cheaper than the Kobra. And we have, again, white and black color scheme. Again, a nice light feel. A different sole. I'm going to put them up side by side on the camera. So this is the one we're looking at here. This is the Recoil Strike. You've got more of a, it's like actually a completely different sole concept. Here it says Strike on the side. This is the inner part of the shoe. And they've continued this kind of hexagonal sort of design element all through here. Like the other shoe, they have the tongue sort of secure system that you can pull up with. They also have the toe coming up over the top for drag. So these look a bit more sturdy and a bit more cushion. I'm gonna guess a bit more durable than the Recoil Strike, just based on the heft of them, and that's probably in the that weight's probably additional padding and stuff in the sole. So in terms of the height profile, you can also see the one on the bottom here is the Recoil Strike. It's got a thicker looks like a bit of a thicker sole just visually inspecting it. The Kobra looks a little bit lower to the ground and also has a kind of, it says roll bar over here. This is kind of one big piece of the sole, just kind of wraps up from the toe and all the way around the inside here, whereas the Recoil Strike is more of a classic sort of different, has a different piece of material as you come into the inner part here. All right, moving on. Next we have the Viper SL. These are $140, so another $20 cheaper than the Recoil Strike in terms of the price point. The Vipers have always been, it has classically been less cushioning. They're very light. A little less cushioning, a little closer to the ground. I would say in the past, the pros that have used Salming have tended to use the Kobra, those who want a more cushioning. More often than not, the pros are using this Viper. They want that close to the ground feel. Me, as a 40-plus-year-old, I like that knee cushioning of the Kobra, but the pros and the younger players out there might want a little bit more of a speed shoe. This sole looks similar on the bottom to the Kobra. Not entirely though. They've made some changes. You can see, like in here, you've got that hexagonal grip stuff. It's the same on both, but in this section, slightly different. This is more, the Viper SL has more of a classic gum rubber, sole. It has less kind of reinforcement up the toe, so you may find these a little bit more susceptible to toe drag. This is the Kobra here. You can see how it goes way up the front. The Viper is a much smaller nose, so to speak. They both still have that kind of Salming, like, I guess, extra width. It doesn't have that 8-degree kind of branding or whatever like the Kobra does. But you can see that it is designed for lateral stability, as the Kobra is. This has a kind of skeleton almost inside the shoe here, which looks like it's giving the support. It's made of like a fabric. I can feel with my finger in here, this like fabric skeleton almost, and it's covered in mesh to kind of give it a little more stability. But that's pretty interesting. It's probably contributing to the lightness of this. It's, if I put my fingers into this, it really feels quite like it's translucent. It looks solid, but it's actually quite light and very soft in there. I'll be interested to see how those feel on the feet. So that is the Viper SL. This one is called the Eagle. The Eagle is $120. So again, that would be $20 cheaper than the previous one, so they're going down in increments of 20 bucks. Ooh la la, I do like this color scheme, I have to say. The Eagle, this is a black, I mean it's pretty simple, but I just like the black color with the kind of fluorescent yellow salming along the edge there. It says no nonsense, which is one of Salming's kind of brand names. No nonsense, much like their founder who died. Actually, I saw on Salming's Instagram, I think yesterday, I think the founder who was like who was a hockey player, famous professional hockey player from Sweden. He died yesterday. I'm sorry for all the Salming family out there to hear that. Back to the Eagle. Similar to the previous two I was showing you, they have the same kind of hexagonal grip. This is more of a gum rubber sole, non-marking as they all are, and it has some differences in between these sort of hash marks, if you will, but for the most part, a very similar design on the sole. It has good level of protection on your toe here for the toe drag. The tongue is, let's see, as with the others, the tongue is sort of affixed to the shoe with like a little bit of webbing inside to keep it mostly in place. Got the little Swedish flag detail here for the Swedes out there, and for the worldwide audience as well. You've got this outer material is like a plastic, a kind of flexible plastic with a kind of honeycomb hexagonal shape that's covering up some mesh. So it's a little bit thicker and feels a little bit heavier in the hand than the previous one that I was just holding. I'm starting to lose track of the names. Than the Viper. This has a decent level of protection on the inside for your toe drag, and overall, just based on looks, without having put them on my feet, this is definitely my favorite. Potentially because I like black shoes. I'll be honest with you, but I like how these look, kind of all around, I would say. On to a new model from Salming. We are going to show you, I guess I'm not going to show you the box, I'm just going right in. This is called the Salming Rival. This one is $100, so this is now the lowest price point in the Salming range. $100, again, $20 cheaper than the last one, $20 cheaper than the Eagle. It is black as well. Still feels light. Even the cheapest one in the range still feels like quite a light shoe. I'm gonna get the scale out after this and put a little chart so you can see the weights of everything in this video. The sole, once again, very similar idea. This time it's all hexagonal, same kind of concept. It looks like it borrows, elements from the other shoes, like the where's the Viper? Here is the Viper. The Rival has kind of a similar cutout here in the arch of the shoe. The sole is completely flat. All the other models had like a little bit of a cutout here. Looks like pretty good cushioning all around, and you have got on the Rival, you've got a good amount of toe protection for toe drag and overall grip. You can see it comes up the nose of the shoe here, comes up the toe. Right, so that's about all I can tell from looking at them. We're gonna weigh them, we're gonna try them on, and we're gonna be back with more info. Hope this video was helpful. Stay tuned because we are gonna get a surprise. It's not a surprise if I tell you in advance probably, but we're gonna get to see some of the next year's models from Salming in a future video. So make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you in that future video. Bye.